Hello, what's up everybody? I'm going to do a quick sound check with our guest today just to check you're both there and ready to go before we kick off.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear, that's perfect. All right, so I'm just going to do a bit of an intro and then I'll come back to you guys and then you guys can intro yourselves as well, okay? So
Great,
a big
yeah.
welcome to everyone. This week's installment of DappRadar Meets. As always, if you missed any of the previous shows, don't worry, we've got you. They're all on the YouTube channel. Just search DappRadar on YouTube. And this week's show will be up on YouTube before the end of the week as well. So you can always find the content if you missed it. Before we really get into it this week, I have to make a little confession. I've been off work this week, suffering from stage 9 man flu, as I like to call it. For all you men out there, I think you sneeze once and that's it, straight under the duvet. I'm getting a bit better, but I'm not quite on top form today. So I would ask all the audience to be really kind, help out my throat a little bit by asking some really great questions later on in the show. So for people who join every week, you guys know, every week I sit down with the guys from leading blockchain games, NFT projects, and DeFi dApps. We dig in, we try to get a better idea of what's in store for them. But really importantly, we give you guys, the community of the Dapp and DappRadar, a chance to ask those difficult questions. As always, there's $100 of USDT up for USDC, actually, sorry, shared amongst the best 10 questions. So don't be shy. There really is no such thing as a stupid question unless you ask it twice or if somebody's already asked it. Don't be shy, people. And this week, I really need your help. So today, we have some of the team from a DeFi protocol called HAPI. HAPI is a cross-chain DeFi dApp aimed at creating new cybersecurity standards for the DeFi market, providing real-time data on stolen funds and compromised wallets. So today, and I'm using their screen names, we have Jumbo and Vadim. Vadim, is that right? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, everything is correct.
Vadim. No, Vadim. Okay. So today they're here with us to chat about HAPI. What problems it's looking to solve, why it's relevant, and why we should be getting excited about their roadmap. So, hey, how are you guys doing today?
We are doing fine.
A bit tired, but
Yeah.
we're here, yes, and
I mean, we are past our bedtime already, so.
Oh, no. What time zone are you guys in? Because it's always different, right? So where are you guys?
I think it's 6 p.m. right now.
yes.
And it's past your bedtime?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, it's good to hear that you guys are there and in good form. So just to backtrack slightly, I described HAPI as a cross-chain DeFi protocol. I used the very marketing description. And what I'd like to do, just before we really kind of get into it, is break that down into some chunks and just make sure that everybody understands what we're discussing here from the start. For me, HAPI sounds like a fail-safe mechanism. What I want to do is break it down and then let you guys explain. So the first bit, HAPI is a cross-chain DeFi protocol. Tell us what that means, guys.
I think in simple terms, it means that firstly we are cross-chain, and that's kind of self-explanatory. We work not only on one chain network, blockchain. We are kind of ramifying into different networks. So we are currently on Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Near, and Solana. What DeFi means in our case is that we are actually decentralized solution, and the finance part refers to finance assets and us hopefully and to the extent securing and preventing people and entities from losing their funds. That's kind of the breakdown.
By the way, as of today, we have our MVP launched for Solana, and we are trying to achieve in a couple of weeks the same solution for Ethereum.
Okay, so you've launched the MVP on Solana. So I was going to get to that a little bit later because I saw that had happened. So we'll talk a bit more in a bit more detail. But thank you, that's great. I just always like to make sure that people understand what we're discussing. We understand these terms really well: cross-chain, blah blah blah. We get that intuitively.
Yeah.
Some people not so much. So it's nice. Yeah, like you said, BSC, Ethereum, Solana. So fundamentally, the protocol can operate across different blockchains, giving it more visibility and potentially more users as well. But that is the way that DeFi is going. It is going cross-chain. So in terms of like what you guys do, so you're aimed at creating a new sort of layer of cybersecurity, but that's done by providing real-time data on stolen funds, right? Can you guys just explain that in a more kind of, imagine you're explaining it to your mother and she really wants to know what this is all about. Like, don't make it too simple, but you know, let's keep it top line.
Yeah, I think I recently tried to explain it to my mother and it didn't go well. I think I made a bad experience with it, but I hope I can lay it out a bit better. So I think it's fair to say that there are kind of one layer, at least right now in the crypto space, in the cybersecurity space, one layer of security. And it is smart contract audits. It's like the first step and the first kind of set that you are required to achieve. And we are aiming actually at the rectifying the flows that can potentially come after the smart contract has been exploited. Let's say you can't really prevent every kind of flaw, every kind of foible from happening only by auditing your smart contract. There is a human error that can happen. There are a lot of flaws that actually stem post factum that you don't know about, that you can't know about for sure, and then things happen, incidents happen. That's what we are trying to kind of catch up to. We are calling ourselves layer 2 solution of cybersecurity. What it means is that we actually can act on the give in of the smart contract audits and the loss of funds from that. We actually can prevent money laundering and the post factum of what happens. So that's kind of the rundown. I think the questions kind of should come up right now, and I hopefully can answer them. Yeah.
Definitely. I think again, just to like outline that. So the first, as you described it, is really well. So the first kind of security measure that we have in DeFi is the smart contract itself. That the smart contract is written and then audited. And as you rightly say, things can get missed or the auditing process has not happened to a high enough degree. So it cannot always be, that's just stage one of security. So what HAPI is trying to do is bring in another layer here. I think I've understood that correctly, right, guys? Like, forgive me for being so simple sometimes. I just like to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So usually a service like this would arise in demand to a problem. And I think anyone who's operated in DeFi or understands DeFi to any extent knows that we have been victim to quite a large number of hacks and exploits. Like just between, I think it was January and July this year, $471 million has been taken in hacks and exploits. And 361 million of that is accounted for in DeFi. Hacks and exploits are there, they're happening. And I mean, can you expand? Can you tell us a bit more about the problems that currently exist you guys are trying to solve?
The main kind of issue right now that actually quite visible is the lack of promptness about the notification on the actual hacks and incidents that happen. Right now, just to give you a little of background, right now Sexes, for example, have their own Telegram channels that they actually share the compromised wallets and compromised addresses and addresses of fraudulent actors between themselves. So instead of them doing kind of manual labor, we're actually bringing it on chain, the notification and alerting system. And in that way, when a certain incident happens, certain predicament happens, we can actually almost instantaneously notify the entities connected to the protocol about the incident. So that's the baseline of our protocol and our solution. We also can trace the blockchain activity, and based on the historical kind of data and the interactions that the address in question had beforehand, we can actually establish the risk categories and categorize it based on the risk factors. So I think I need to slow down and maybe discuss. We can discuss more on the topics you are actually interested in.
No, and regarding this exchange and the Telegram group, yes, it really is like a Wild West. They are speaking to each other via the Telegram.
So the system, so you've got your smart contracts as your first security level, and then really what you guys are saying is the second security level is kind of non-existent and is happening in a very manual way, whereby a bad actor is identified and then it's only communicated via a Telegram chat. If you miss that Telegram chat, you're not going to know what's happening, right?
Yes, correctly.
That's quite amazing. I mean, I know these things. This is the world that I've been in for years. So that doesn't surprise me, but to some people that might be quite amazing, actually, that there isn't more emphasis on this. So you said that, so you can identify the bad actor and you can identify the movement of fraudulent of funds in a way. So you then notify the Dapp, who then notifies its customers. Is that the way that you guys work? So you're not taking responsibility for the customers, right?
Yeah, I think the kind of distinguishing point of HAPI is that we are not only working with the centralized exchanges, we are also working with the DeFi space. So let's to compare our solution to the solutions like centralized solutions like chain analysis and cipher trace and all of these entities. They are centralized and they work off chain. So yes, they can provide us with the needed data actually. So we kind of cohabitate in a way, and we can actually supplement each other in a way. But the core of our solution is to translate the centralized space of the cybersecurity on chain.
Yes, to bring the off-chain data on chain. We are like Chainlink. We are like a son of Chainlink and CipherTrace.
Yeah, when I first read about you guys, Chainlink was something I kind of analyzed you with. I was like, you're basically an oracle, but not a price oracle, like a bad actor oracle almost. Like it's pretty impressive. Like when I was reading over the literature, I was quite impressed by everything and like very interested. And I've got loads of questions, but I really want to let you guys kind of, what's important to you? Like you've just launched the MVP on Solana. Let's talk about that. That must have been hectic. You guys have been working very hard. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we have launched like a month ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Something
ago.
like this.
Yeah, it was quite a strenuous work to get where we currently are. We actually have a lot of work right now ahead of us, especially if you're to consider how expensive our vision currently is in regards to what we see and where we can improve. Right now, the core goal is to not only make it on Solana, but actually to get all of the blockchains to work congruently and kind of make it all in one place. So we are aspiring to become a hub for cybersecurity, not only in a sense of being the only and being monopolistic, but in the sense of bringing community to actually having a contribution to the cybersecurity space in a way that anyone can actually report bad actors and make our database self-subsisting and make it basically continuously grow in our database based on the community interactions.
Okay. Launching on Solana was just sort of one part of a major progress milestones. So you're cross-chain, and that's why different blockchains. Can you tell us, because in my mind, if you approached a DeFi Dapp with this solution, it seems very logical that they would be quite excited and up for using this. Is that the case? Are you getting positive feedback? Can you tell us a bit about your kind of journey in regards to when you speak to DeFi protocols? What kind of questions have they got for you guys? Like, what are they looking for?
It's actually much easier to convince centralized exchanges to actually implement our protocol, and it's much harder to actually get across the idea to DeFi space, since they are kind of offhand about the implementations of any cybersecurity solutions, either because they don't care or because they don't know what you want to integrate and how it will impact their project in what way. So it kind of takes a lot of persuasion and perseverance to actually get them on board. So I think centralized solutions in that sense, centralized entities in that sense, is quite easier to interact with on a level that DeFi maybe is not grown enough, mature enough at this point in time.
The main point is the regulations, because centralized exchange are well known in this part, but decentralized world, as of today, they are aware of the regulations, but they will come. The big brother will come.
Yeah, and you always need to accentuate the decentralized solutions that you are actually not breaching any or impinging on any decentralized ideals, that you're actually keeping them and retaining them. And that's actually what we are trying to do.
That's really interesting to me that the centralized exchanges, it's quite obvious, centralized exchanges have more accountability with their customers, I'd imagine. And as you said rightly about the regulation. And it's no surprise to me that big centralized exchanges would want to implement your system to give their customers further security. That makes perfect sense, right? Did you guys see that coming? Or did you think that the DeFi, as you've said, the DeFi space is a little bit more hesitant? Do you think, are we going to be in for a quick change here? And you also said maybe they don't care. Can you explain that a little bit more? Like, I know what you mean, but do you mean that they just literally don't care about their customers, or perhaps they just want to let things evolve a bit further?
I think it's kind of the tendency more on the human nature side. And, you are seeing all of these hacks and think that it kind of goes aside and it won't concern you personally. But I think that's kind of the hurdle that actually harms in the long term. So I think it's just a matter of showing and showcasing how your project, your solution can help with rectifying some of the issues that are inherent to the security, to the securities, and how you can actually help and aid in making it better. I think it's kind of on our side to showcase the advantages that we are bringing, and us showcasing the sites that we can improve their projects. We need to explain it better, and on the side of the DeFi, I think they need to adapt to the inevitable changes that are unfortunately coming, and you can but you have to being regulated in some way. even if it's
If it's like self-regulation.
superficial, yeah, in some sense. But we are actually providing them with the aspect that is actually decentralized and governed by majority and not by the one single entity. So.
And don't forget about the AML, which is like
Yeah.
money laundering through the DeFi protocols is like one of the main stuff for now.
Yeah.
Yes, Uniswap and so on and so on.
And these are arguably the kind of things that are slowing our industry down, right? In its truest form, the decentralized industry as it is now is being slowed down by these bad actors. And I must take my hat off to you, gentlemen, to try to combat that. Because if we really, there's been a lot of talk of adoption this year, mass adoption, but without firm regulation and without security, it's going to be very difficult to lure in, your mums and dads into investing in crypto without more security, right? It's not going to happen. But just talking about DeFi and regulators, and I mean, it's a hot topic right now. I mean, what extent do you expect to see regulators and even government come out with kind of DeFi specific laws, rules in 2022? And that's the first question. Like, to what extent do you think they're going to actually go for it in 2022? Then the second part of that question really is, do you think the DeFi sector can succeed in meeting those challenges next year specifically, or do you think it's going to take longer?
Yeah, I think the baseline that regulators are going to look is, as Vadim mentioned, money laundering. That's kind of the baseline that every entity within the decentralized space should be beholden to some extent. So I think, yeah, money laundering is the backbone of regulations that are going to come eventually. And whether they will come in the year 2022 is, I think I personally and the guys in the office are quite certain that it's going to happen in the next year. So,
Okay.
so we are talking about whether we are ready to, give off our rights to the single governed entities or regulators that are basically driven by the, self-interest. So that's kind of the trade-off you are going to be faced with. Either you are accepting our terms on the decentralized equivalence of the regulations, as we call ourselves, or you are giving in to the centralized solution.
And I'd like to mention that we are speaking with lots of different data providers and our potential partners, such as, for example, CipherTrace, Chain Analysis, and they are on the same page with us. They are waiting for the regulations, and it will be established in months or half year, but it will be established.
Are they preparing and getting ready for this? I mean, it's a question. I'm not sure whether we will get the full story next year. I think something else I don't know how you guys feel about this, that we've kind of evolved in the crypto blockchain space into quite a positive area right now, right? There's not so much negativity surrounding our space as there used to be. Do you think there's a fear that by what you guys are doing is really great, but do you think there's a fear that we could bring some negativity back into the space again? We start talking about AML again. We start bringing these topics out. Personally, I think we can do that. We just have to do it positively. Do you guys kind of agree with that? I mean, how are you going to talk about their challenges, but it's for people's safety? Is that how you guys are trying to communicate this?
Yeah, I think that trying to not look at the dark side or trying to ignore some of the points of non-positive points, I think that's not an approach that is going to be conducive to any extent. And I think people kind of need to face the reality of regulations being an inseparable part of any financial interactions in general. So whether these regulations have a kind of dark undertone or they cast any grim, consequences or are you going to look into more decentralized solution like ours that tries to retain some of the points and ideals of blockchain and what it stands for? So that's my view of that. We are not actually vilifying the off-chain providers like again chain analysis or cipher trace. They are actually doing awesome work, and we had a chance to witness what they have achieved. But I think it's all about giving people also some of the control over what they can report and what they can contribute to the space in general, and how they can improve it by their own hands. And that's one part that we are trying to achieve right now.
I think you've both got a very realistic opinion of what's happening out there in the market. I think it would be very unrealistic for people to imagine that we will continue in an unregulated way forever. That would be really naive and stupid, I think, to think that. So I'm with you guys. I definitely think it's for the better. It's just that transition period, right? We have to make it through the transition. But your point about avoiding negativity, avoiding the darker things, you're right. It's not the smart move. You have to face your fears full on, right? We have to face these issues and get over them so that we can all progress. And it's really interesting thing that you said there. Just to move on a little bit, we talked about other blockchains, and one thing that I saw with you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, I see that you are kind of partnering up with NEA.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit why their kind of infrastructure and blockchain appeals to you, the NEA protocol? And if I'm right at all, are you partnering up with them, or is it all just kind of fictional?
Yeah, I think NEAR is kind of in the place of being one of the most progressive blockchains that are currently in existence. And there are two reasons for that. Firstly, it's developer friendly, and secondly, it's the most developer friendly block currently is. And secondly, it actually surpasses in many aspects other blockchains, because they are kind of from the genesis kind of oriented towards being sharded blockchain. Sharded blockchain means that it's layer one scalability. So you're getting your TPS and all of that stuff, smart stuff. But basically, yeah.
Smart stuff on Dragon Lab.
Ethereum, basically, right?
All of the goods, yeah, and solving the trilemma, the notorious trilemma of blockchain, and yeah, that sort of stuff.
Merkle 3 and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Especially me, I'm sitting here in the NEAR t-shirt, and to tell the truth, they are just cool guys, and they are our friends.
Yeah, and we are actually paid to say what. They
Full disclosure. No, listen, you're talking about a protocol which has had a lot of publication anyway. I think anyone who's read about NEA, we know about NEA, we know what it's capable of, so there's no surprise there. Do you think NEA can become a real major referent for DeFi dApps and other dApps in the future? Right now, their ecosystem's pretty small. And you see that really growing out. Like, do you think they're going to become a major player?
Yeah, seeing NEAR, I'm kind of getting the deja vu of the Solana blockchain. Who could have predicted that Solana will grow like it did? Seeing right now NEAR on the 30th place on the coin market cap, I think it may follow in the steps and be one of the top blockchains. Especially blockchain and adoption, it all comes down to the ecosystem, and NEAR is built, as I said, with developers in mind, so they have like the most familiar tools at their disposal. That's all about ecosystem growing and building dApps on top of your blockchain, because purely technological, it doesn't matter whether your blockchain is, whether your blockchain has 50,000 TPS if no one uses it. So that's kind of the
Attracting, you've got to attract the users, and the dApps are what attracts
Yeah.
the users, right, on the blockchain space. And I think ultimately, some people don't actually understand that simple point, that dApps are what run on blockchains and are what bring in the users. They are the usable part of the blockchain, right? I think so. Hashtag not investment advice. Nia.
Not
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's I'm always interested to hear what people think about different protocols and what they're designed for and why and what they think about them. I think it's interesting to get people's opinions on that. So I'm going to come to a couple of questions. Actually, we've got a guy in the audience, super keen. Let's invite him to speak. 1 second. Zippy 1979.
Whoa, what a username.
No,
Thank you.
cool. Are you there?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I had a question for you guys about institutional investors using DeFi. One of the things that I'm very keen on seeing is like for institutions to be able to use DeFi. And I was wondering what provisions you guys were going to make to kind of enable them to use use DeFi.
I think the retail investors in general are kind of looking into the more or less the same avenues that capital investors are looking at, and that includes security. So what we are bringing to the space is security measures that can be kind of the drop point to you see our protected by HAPI protocol, and you know that at least some security is in place. that's kind of the DeFi contribution that we are personally making it a secure place, making it a safer place for all. And that I think kind of the side effect of that is that there will be inevitably more adoptions. The interaction within this ecosystem will be more secure. So more secured interactions mean more adoption, at least in my mind.
If you see the logo, which tells you that protected by HAPI, you may know exactly that Dapp is using HAPI and pre-AML has been done.
I think that's quite an important point, guys. Because
sounds kind of anticlimactic, but you will see.
at the moment,
As a follow-up to that one, with like one of the solutions I've seen where the people are going to implement something for institutional investors is to have like a ring-fenced area of the DeFi where the only wallet participants are kind of like KYC'd and doxed. Is that like something that you guys would be thinking of supporting, or is that against your ethos of like the whole decentralized ecosystem? Sorry about this, like adding a second question. But...
Yeah, the idea is to not be a decision maker. We are a protocol and we are not making decisions on our own. Instead, we are only propagating information on the illicit activity and fraudulence in general. On top of that, we are not actually aiming to, de-anonymize. Basically, we are retaining the anonymity factor, and we are not planning to implement anything of that sort. So the kind of walled garden thing also contravenes the ideals of decentralization. So we are not planning to do that in any way. So yeah.
Thanks very much.
really good question. Thank you. I think just on that first question, it's important to note as well that up until, sort of the way that things are done currently, you'll see a DeFi protocol and it will say on it, like you've said, secured by HAPI, it will say audited by, and people kind of see that as being like a big green tick, like audited by these guys. Okay, cool, everything's safe. Now, those of us in the industry a bit longer, we know that's not necessarily the case, that the audit is pretty low level. It's not that inclusive of everything. So I think just as a point, the more levels of security and sort of visual security we can add to DeFi protocols, the better for everybody. So that would be a great thing. Next question. Winter, I see you're back. You were here last week, my man.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
No problem.
I love being here. First of all, really nice to meet you guys. I think your product is amazing, actually. Like, all the protocol and the idea of having an extra layer of protection is great. And I was thinking, or I was asking myself if what level of integration could your protocol have with dApps such as like NFT games, like let's say X Infinity, or more of the side of the play to earn, or these types of things that usually gets breaches of security. So how could these your protocol could help with these?
Wow, this question we are waiting for. Today we have published our article regarding how HAPI will help NFTs. Jumbo, maybe you can
Cool.
Yeah, the question cannot be more relevant, actually.
Awesome.
So yeah, the I don't know if you know, but basically NFTs are the same as any fungible token, but they are actually has their own identifier, and they are in most cases, if it's not fractional NFT, they are limited to the certain amount. So there is no accommodation that is needed for our protocol to, exclusively maintain the NFT space. We can actually simply integrate NFTs or at the level that we are currently have our protocol at. So we have been exploring it for quite a while, and today we have released the article that expounds on how we are going to do that, and I think you should read that.
Yeah, I'll read it. Awesome.
It explains in more detail on how we are going to do that.
But to have a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
The main.
Yeah, the idea is the same, and it doesn't deviate much from the fungible token, fungible asset in this regard.
Pretty easy to integrate. That's awesome.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah.
I was doing like a little bit of a follow-up question, because like with, for example, Axie, they have the integration with the Trezor hardware wallet. So I was thinking, like, are integrations with hardware wallets in the future like in your roadmap, or is your solution kind of like a replacement or a parallel solution to these kind of things?
We are targeting wallets, but not wallets, not hardware wallets. We are targeting more extension wallets and wallets like Near Wallet that is web-based. The idea is basically making possible for wallet users as well as wallet providers to report addresses and notify people about the certain addresses and their kind of risk categories and how can they pose. So about the hardware wallets, I don't have much to say, unfortunately.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you, man. That was great.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'm sure to read the article.
Yeah, you are definitely.
That was really good.
Yeah, you are definitely getting your 100, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Ian's gonna have me each week here.
So you're like my co-host recently. Like, come back, man. Don't just keep coming back.
Yeah, no, I'll be coming back.
You got good questions too, man. So.
Awesome, thank you, man. Thank you, Joe.
Like a side hustle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the side hustle.
Thank you. The questions are good, and like these guys said, never more relevant than right now. And I read that article earlier today, and I think it is really super important that somebody tackles this. That I myself actually have fallen victim to a fake NFT. I know it makes me sound like a newbie, but you know, these things happen, man. So I am in favor of some cleaning up of this space because, like these guys said, I mean, guys, just to talk about the NFT space for a moment, in terms of what do you guys think of it in terms of money laundering, in terms of what's happening there? Perspective, we're seeing $1 million sales, we're seeing great generative art. What are you guys seeing happening in the NFT space right now?
Yeah, I think the NFT space at this point in time kind of confined in the digital art and the gamify space. I think it can grow more in the space of authenticity and verification of identity, rather than being only for digital art and money laundering. But let's not dive into that.
For this interesting picture.
Yeah. I just
saying.
Yeah, I just question myself on the frequent basis that who the hell would buy CryptoPunks for millions of dollars, and when you can download the JPEG image in like 1 second.
Jumbo is not buying.
Oh, but you don't.
It's just like downloading. He's like a pirate.
So Jumbo,
That's
everyone else.
That's not true. Yeah.
Well, that's like a whole nother conversation. Like I'll be straight honest. I think 2 years ago somebody spoke to me about CryptoPunks and I was very negative. And I kind
We
of
love NFTs.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next question. We got Grizzling in the house. He was here before I recognized your face. This week, sir.
Hello, guys. I hope I'm audible.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. So I think your project is a unique project. This is the first time I'm hearing of this kind of project in this space. So I'll say kudos to you guys for the work. So here's my question. You will agree with me that the DeFi landscape is one that is an ever-changing landscape. So I would like to know, what is your short-term roadmap for this project? I mean, what solutions are you hoping to deploy within the next few months, possibly Q1 2022?
The short-term goal right now is adding the ability to not only add Solana-based addresses, but also Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon, and so on addresses to the database, and that will happen by the 15th of December.
Yes.
This month. In regards to the January 2022, I think we will be integrating some of the data providers that we talked about today, like chain analysis, CipherTrace, and all of that, so we can actually expand our database and make sure that we can trace addresses more efficiently on the blockchains that the said solution is available on. So that's the two basic goals that we are currently aspiring to get done and get over with. We also will be making tracers. It's like oracles, but you actually get paid for what you do. So, so yeah. The idea of tracers is that actually anyone can trace the movement of addresses, the blockchain, and get paid for what they are doing. That's one of the also goals right now. So yeah, that's it.
Lots of different plans, but haven't got much time for all of this.
Yeah, in the marketing and business development department, we are also looking into a lot of stuff, exciting stuff, especially in regards to partnerships and the entities we are going to partner in the month in a month or two. So yeah.
Okay, that's some interesting lineup that you've got there. Do you have an article that can read up on as regards tracers? I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, we actually have it in our
Yes.
in our white paper. You can read up on that easily.
Just go to our site and website and find it in our Git book.
Yeah, HAPI.1.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Grizzly. Good question, man. Okay, so we've got one more question. RLO. You there?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Glad to be here. I have a question about the HAPI protocol. What's the difference, actually, security benefits, I mean, when this protocol is being integrated at the core of the DEX, like Jumbo Exchange, in compared with integration of the protocol at other DEXs that have been launched before? What's the technical benefits at the first case in compared with the second one?
Yeah, in the case of decentralized exchanges, you are actually integrating smart contracts, and the, let's say, transaction that goes into the DEXs first routes through the HAPI smart contracts, check whether the given address was involved in any illicit activity before, and that's and with DEXs, with SEXs, centralized exchanges, the case is a bit different, since you don't need to route anything, and you can basically report and check addresses without any hindrance. Yeah, so that's the main differentiating point.
And also, what have been the biggest technical challenges the team have faced at the integration in Texas?
The biggest technical challenge, I think, it boils down to the one specific blockchain that is not like the others, and by that blockchain, I think you can guess what blockchain I'm talking about.
Solana, right?
Ethereum.
Oh,
Ethereum. Man,
you were
the
talking about
gas fees.
Solana.
Yeah, the gas fees, because of the gas fees of the Ethereum, you have quite a lot of troubles integrating another smart contract, because when you are routing to the your one smart contract, then you need to route to another smart contract. Basically, it adds up, and you get a lot of fees.
But in case of NEAR, everything is happening smoothly.
Man, NEAR is like perfect for that. I mean, NEAR is the best blockchain ever.
That's why Jumbo Exchange will use HAPI protocol, like first one, yes, first DEX which will use.
Yeah, the first DEX to use HAPI actually has been announced, and it will be NEAR.
Question, man. I actually have a question on that front, because you're talking about Ethereum. You guys have got a partnership with Aurora, right? The EVM.
Yes.
How can you tell us a bit about why that's important to you guys, and what that does for you as a protocol, as a platform, being integrated there?
I think the essence of EVM is that you can actually only bridge Ethereum to NEAR to Ethereum, and they are also HAPI.
Makes a lot of sense, guys. Sorry,
yes, and by the way, the Rainbow Bridge, one of the first decentralized bridges.
Yeah, there is a lot of confusion in regards to what bridges can be considered decentralized and what bridges cannot be considered centralized.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can speak with Alex Shevchenko, CEO. He can tell you lots of different stuff about.
We can have a 17-day conversation about the differences, I'm sure. Yeah. It's,
Yeah, that's optimistic on your end.
I better book off the whole month, right? So
Yeah.
one thing we haven't spoken about at all. So we're running out of time now. So I wanted to pull it towards
Yeah.
the HAPI token and the tokenomics of the HAPI token. And so if you find this platform interesting, that's a way that you can kind of invest in you guys, right? You can support the HAPI token. But what else can you do with the HAPI? What are the benefits of being a HAPI token holder? Can you earn? Can you stake? Can you provide liquidity? What can you do with it?
Yeah, since we are cross-chain, that kind of gives us the benefit to be able to for people to stake on different blockchains, including Ethereum. We currently have staking liquidity providing on Orca, which is Solana DEX. One on Ref Finance, which is near DEX, one of the near DEXs. So that's kind of the benefit you get when you are cross-chain, so you can branch out to other.
Yeah, so we have like liquidity pools on Binance Smart Chain. It's like a Pancake Swap, Uniswap, Ref Finance, Orca, Radium, and so on. So lots of different decentralized exchanges.
Yeah, I think you're in the actual utility of
Yes.
HAPI as a token in the protocol itself.
And it's like the main.
The main and the current utility that we are exploring is Oracle rewards. You pay actually HAPI tokens to integrate HAPI protocol into a solution, but that's more of a
B2B.
long-term goal. We're not planning to monetize our protocol at this moment. And the other point is actually that you have to pay in HAPI to check the address on the fraudulence and illicit activity. That also is will be implemented in the nearest future. So let's say you want to check whether the address has been involved in any malicious activity, you go to our interface, which will be also released hopefully this month. And you pay a certain fee in HAPI token, and you check the address, and it will give you mostly the. I think it will give you the binary kind of system, so it's either risky or not, so 0 or 1.
So, for example, if you want to buy some tokens via OTC, you need to check the wallet address whether it was like malicious or not. You may go to our website and check the address.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. It reminds me of the kind of way that, for example, if you buy like a second-hand car, like you can do a check on it to see if it's been involved in any crashes. It's kind of like that, isn't it? Like, I think that's brilliant. That's exactly what people need, and to be able to transact in HAPI for that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so we spoke about the token a little bit. Last question from me. So DeFi this year kind of cooled down a little bit, right? Like we saw a lot of gamified finance coming onto the scene, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. The other thing that we saw was that DeFi appears to attract a user base mostly from within the cryptocurrency sector market. It's like itself, it's a bit insular. Do you see this changing in 2022? Do you think that decentralized platforms can attract more of a mainstream market? And I kind of already think that you've got a perfect answer for this. Like, if they integrate us, then yes, they can. And that just came to my head now. I wasn't setting you up for that. But what do you think? Like, do you think in 2022 that more DeFi platforms are going to attract mainstream users? Or do you think it's going to stay more centralized for now?
Yeah, I think we are kind of seeing the tendency for DeFi to the adoption more and more. And I think it's in the next couple of years we will see governments actually using decentralized ledgers to actually interact within the governmental structures and this kind of stuff. And I think decentralized and distributed technologies actually have a place for a utility, especially when we are talking about storing data or identifying, verifying that sort. I think it needs to be distributed, at least distributed, and in best case scenario also decentralized.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see that. Sorry, man, go on. I think we are going to see that sort of evolution coming. I think it's a really interesting year next year as to how it adopts and how it changes. What do you?
Yeah.
Last question.
One mention. I think the moment Cardano implements smart contracts will be a massive adoption.
Oh, come on. You're going to be like either super popular right now or super unpopular right now, right? This Cardano conversation is everlasting at the moment. Okay. Put your money where your mouth is, guys. Tell me what you think. So do you guys think that Cardano is going to be a major player by the end of next year? I think it's going to...
It's a new joke.
It's a what, sorry?
It's a new joke.
Yeah, it's a kind of internal joke. Yeah.
God. I'm in there.
Yeah.
I'm in there with you on that joke then. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think they definitely have a shot at that, considering that how much their development has taken time, and they are making a meticulous research, and I cannot but respect them on that front. We are joking, but they're actually great guys, and we had a chance to actually talk with some of the heads out there. So yeah, they are knowledgeable about that stuff.
When they will be ready,
that's why we said that when Cardano smart contracts, it was mass adoption immediately.
We'd love to cooperate with this blockchain as well.
Some may say they have already released, but there are no dexes yet.
No, there's nothing there. Yeah. Okay. Well, peer reviews and all that. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
The concurrency issue as well, but I think we'll let it slide.
Let's skip that one. Let's skip that one. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of the session. I have to say that was really cool, and it's been really nice to talk to both of you. I think your project is very cool. I think what you're trying to do here is admirable. I think people should support you, and we should get behind this as a way to legitimize our industry slightly more than it is right now. So very cool. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Is there anything else?
Yeah, thank you for having us. I wanted to say.
It's been my pleasure, man. And as always with these things, what we do, so we've done this now, and it's the end of, what are we on, 2021. In another 6 months' time, I think you guys are going to have a lot more to say, right? And I think as the NFT space evolves a bit further and you guys get your feet in there, there'll be even more for us to talk about. So don't be strangers. It's always good to catch up and see what's going on. So thank you again, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and you can get off to bed now.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Right. That was really cool. Thank you very much. And so, thank you to everyone who showed up to listen. We put all this content goes onto YouTube by the end of the week. So if you want to pass it around, if you found it interesting, it was a pretty good session today. Next week, we've got a chap called Andrew Miller. Sorry, that's wrong. His name's Robert Miller, not Andrew Miller. He's the marketing and comms lead from Fuse Blockchain. And he's coming in to chat to us about their core services and what's in store for 2022. Now, Robert and I actually know each other a little bit, so the conversation may go slightly off topic, but hopefully we'll keep it on track. So, as always, thank you so much for all your time. The people who ask questions will reach out to you with your rewards. And until next week, see you later.